The bosses in Kingdom Hearts are undoubtedly one of the game's most memorable highlights. From awe-inspiring battles to frustrating encounters, each boss contributes something unique to the journey of Sora and his friends. Some are absolute masterpieces while others miss the mark, but most add depth to the rich story this game tells. In this ranking, I'll dive into all 44 bosses, from the main story, secret bosses, and most of the Colosseum challenges, scoring them in 4 categories. Enjoyability, how fun the fight is. Difficulty, is it fair, rewarding? Design, how creative or visually striking are the bosses? And the story, how well does it actually fit the narrative of Kingdom Hearts? So let's start with boss number 44. What can I even say about this boss? Outside of its entrance, there's nothing redeeming about it. The mechanics? Bad. Strategy? Non-existent. It's just a mindless hack and slash grind hoping it dies before you do. This one easily earns its spot at the very bottom of the list. Genie Jafar had the potential to be an epic climactic boss fight. Instead, we got a parrot chase. Instead of engaging with Jafar directly as a powerful menacing foe, you're awkwardly chasing Iago around a clunky platforming environment. It completely deflates the excitement, turning what should be a strategic, stress-filled boss fight into an exercise of patience. Jafar's attacks are slow and ineffective. If he at least used powerful screen-filling spells and environmental hazards to press you while you attempted to chase down the lamb, this fight could have been more than a dud. Instead, you're button mashing till Iago runs out of juice. This fight was such a letdown, which is crazy considering the next boss on this list. Jafar, only slightly better than his genie form. After taking the lamp from Aladdin, he wishes for Genie to crush them, which is scary at first, until you watch Genie slowly move his way to you and proceed to miss every attempt at a strike. So much for all powerful, right? Jafar is the king of trolling, goading you to get close to him, then flying to the other side of the massive boss arena. It's like playing a game of tag with that kid who hides in his room with the door locked. His only upside is the fact his spells actually pack a punch. I don't like to admit it, but my first fight with him, I got double tapped into oblivion. Yes, somehow I died to this boss. Oogie's mana is the definition of missed potential. The concept is solid. His house being consumed by darkness is a great visual and thematic touch, but the actual boss fight is an absolute pain. Platforming in this game is a nightmare, and Oogie's mana is a perfect example of this. You are clumsily climbing and fighting the camera just to destroy those cursed orbs of darkness, and nothing kills the vibe faster than finally reaching what you think is the last one, only to realise, wait, there's more? Now you're backtracking, scouring every nook and cranny for that one orb you missed, praying you don't fall and have to start all over again. This fight could have been something special with tighter mechanics or better indicators for the remaining orbs. Instead, it's a frustrating mess that overstays its welcome. The darkness may have consumed Oogie, but it definitely tried to consume my patience too. You fought for your life, lost your best friend, made a promise to your crush, came back from the dead, ready to seal the final keyhole, and then you were greeted by this. For a boss guarding the most important keyhole in the universe, you'd expect something epic, right? But no, it's more like a glorified roadblock than a cinematic showdown. Unless you were doing a level 1 run, there's no tension here, just a chore to check off before moving on. The Rock Titan fight definitely starts strong. It's hard not to feel a little hyped with this massive lumbering behemoth emerges. Its entrance screams epic boss battle, and for the first minute or so you're locked in thinking, alright, let's do this. But then reality sets in. Fighting a literal mountain is about as exciting as, well, fighting a mountain. The Rock Titan moves slowly, telegraphs its attacks so much that even Donald could dodge them, and has an absurd health pool that makes the fight drag on. Sure, the heavy damage keeps you from zoning out completely, but once you've figured out its simple free move loop, it's less a battle and more of a grind. It's not outright terrible. It nails the spectacle aspect of a big boss, but the repetitive mechanics and sluggish pace make it a test of patience rather than skill. A solid start, but it fizzles out long before the health bar does. The Hercules fight is such a disappointment, especially given who he is supposed to be. This guy is literally the hero of Olympus, but the fight mechanics make him feel more like a mid-tier filler boss. The invincibility gimmick, completely undermined by barrels? Barrels, of all things? Coming at the end of the Hercules Cup, you'd expect him to be a real challenge. Instead, he's arguably one of the easiest fights in the entire tournament. His moves are so predictable and easy to either guard or dodge, that you spend more time wondering, why didn't they give him a better moveset? His one saving grace is the charging AoE attack. It's visually impressive and can catch you off guard, but even that's not enough to make him memorable. If he had a wider variety of moves, more unblockable attacks, and maybe ditched the invincibility gimmick entirely, this could have been a fantastic boss fight. This fight absolutely sucks, no question. The stakes start high with Jasmine getting captured and shoved into a barrel, but then it all goes downhill fast. You're chasing this oversized centipede through Agrabah, thinking you're on a mission to save her, only to find out, plot twist, she's not even in the barrel anymore. The fight itself is pure frustration. It's basically a gangfest with barrels constantly respawning, adding chaos and clutter to an already messy battle. And then there's the centipede itself, trying to land a decent combo without getting smacked by its antenna. Feels like an exercise in vanity. It's not difficult in a fun, rewarding way. It's just annoying. The Cave of Wonders gives you one of those moments that feels epic. The opening cutscene gives you that, oh, this is about to be insane feeling. But then the fight begins, and you're immediately hit with the dreaded realization it's a gank fight. Fantastic. Climbing up to his eyes? Okay, easy enough. Staying there? Sure, but these guys can fly up doing a front flip and one-shot you. Lasers firing at you? No problem. Oh wait, they track you no matter where you are. Great. Sometimes the RNG in this fight is so bad, you spend what feels like hours for him to put his face back into the ground. This fight can either be really easy or rage-inducing, depending on level and the RNG, and because of that, it ranks this low on the list. Darkseid is undeniably a great example of what a Heartless is supposed to be. Ominous, intimidating, and simple yet engaging to fight. Its design and mechanics are easy to grasp, making it a solid introduction to the world of Heartless and Kingdom Hearts combat. In the early game, it strikes the perfect balance of spectacle and challenge, leaving a strong impression. But then we get to the end game during the Ansem boss sequence. Here Darkseid reappears, and instead of feeling like a climactic moment, it's a glorified warm-up. It's almost laughably easy, but there's no narrative weight to Darkseid at this stage, which makes it feel more like a filler than a meaningful part of the finale. However, I can't help to think how good this fight would be if there was 3 of them. Sabor is an excellent introduction to Deep Jungle, perfectly setting the tone for the world. The ambush right after you arrive catches you off guard, immediately immersing you in the dangers of the jungle. The fact that you get a cutscene, win or lose, is a nice touch, adding weight to the encounter, even if you're not ready for it. And then, later on, you get to face him as a proper boss, which feels like a satisfying progression. His attacks are quick, and his damage output is no joke, making him feel like a genuine threat. However, his low HP ensures the fight doesn't overstay its welcome. The mechanic of him retreating into the bushes, only to ambush you again, is a clever way to keep the fight dynamic and unpredictable. While it's not particularly a challenging fight, it's still a fun and fitting early game boss. Guard armor is a perfect introduction to the kind of combat Kingdom Hearts offers, especially as the first boss alongside Donald and Goofy. It's simple enough to not overwhelm new players, but still dynamic enough to teach valuable lessons about the game's mechanics. The fight encourages you to learn patience, baiting attacks and waiting for an opening, or to get bold and go for a tech block to create your own opening. It's a clever way of easing players into risk versus reward decision making. The way guard armor splits its arms and legs adds an extra layer of strategy, forcing you to prioritize targets while staying alert to attacks from multiple directions. And let's not forget, you're still without the cure spell at this point, so every hit feels significant. There's a real sense of consequence, making every dodge, block and attack matter. It's a well-designed fight that sets the tone for the challenges ahead. Captain Hook is a much-needed dose of comedic relief during a pretty heavy part of the story. His sheer terror of the crocodile is both hilarious and brilliantly woven into the fight. Seeing him freak out mid-battle adds a layer of charm and personality. Unfortunately, the fight itself doesn't quite live up to the potential. Hook's attacks are fast and hit hard, and his taunting move lures you into a trap if you're not careful. But the constant swarm of Heartless turns what could have been a focused, exciting duel into a chaotic gank fest. The flight mechanic in this fight should have elevated it, and it does for a bit, but then you realise that most of Hook's attacks require guarding to create openings, which is not accessible in the air. You can cheese Hook by baiting him into the water and doing a single air combo each time, but where's the fun in that? Overall, it's an okay fight with some fun moments, but his battle doesn't carry the weight or payoff you'd expect, especially considering the fight you did 5 seconds prior. The World of Chaos is an impressive finale visually, but falls short mechanically, leaving the fight feeling more like a chore than an epic showdown. Its scale and design scream final boss, and the idea of battling Ansem's monstrous ship to rescue Donald and Goofy is a nice touch. However, the execution leaves much to be desired. The reliance on the flight mechanic, arguably one of the game's weakest elements, makes the entire encounter feel clunky and tedious. And let's talk about those lasers during the final Ansem phase, relentless and infuriating, turning what should be a climactic duel into an exercise in frustration. Despite the cool design and thematic elements, the fight lacks the sense of strategy or satisfaction that a finale should deliver. It doesn't feel like a grand combination of everything you've learned throughout the game, just a flashy grind. For the final boss, it was a little bit of a letdown. The second Parasite Cage fight is a solid mid-game boss that strikes a good balance between challenge and engagement, coming right after teaming up with Riku. It's a fitting continuation of the Monstro storyline, keeping the momentum going. The Parasite's attacks are strong, and its patterns are easy to learn but still demand attention. The mid-fight shift in attack patterns is a great touch, forcing you to adapt on the fly and keeping the battle from feeling stale. The platforming surrounding the Parasite Cage give you a short reprieve from the acid-covered ground, but don't get too comfortable. The acid attack can come out of nowhere and punishes complacency, making it crucial to stay alert. Getting to the cage's head for the crucial stun moments adds a layer of extra strategy, rewarding careful positioning and timing. Its design is both unique and perfectly suited for Monstro, making the boss visually memorable as well as mechanically interesting. Overall, it's a decent fight, challenging enough to feel satisfying. A great mid-game boss that earns its spot in this list. Maleficent's fight had so much potential, given the build-up throughout the game. She's the mastermind behind much of the chaos, manipulating Riku and scheming against you from the start, so facing her should have felt monumental. Unfortunately, the fight itself falls into a disappointing formula of chasing, ganking, and corner hiding. Her one saving grace is the sheer satisfaction of finally confronting her. After all the manipulation and harm she's caused, taking her down feels incredibly rewarding on an emotional level. It's not about the fight's mechanics, It's about finally putting an end to her schemes and getting some justice for what she's done to Riku. Beyond that though, the fight doesn't stand out. The mechanics are overly simplistic for such a pivotal antagonist, and the constant movement and chasing around the arena make it feel more tedious than epic. It's a fight that leans heavily on the narrative weight, but doesn't quite deliver on gameplay. Ultimately, while it's satisfying to finally bring Maleficent down, the actual fight itself is just okay, leaving it as another mid-tier boss. Lock, shock, and barrel are the perfect combination of infuriating and satisfying. After they steal your homemade heart and hand it off to Oogie Boogie, throwing it down a pipe just to add insult to injury, you are left with nothing but the desire to absolutely obliterate these little troublemakers. Thankfully, you get your chance to do just that. The fight kicks off with the trio working together, and their movesets complement each other well, making the start of the battle surprisingly challenging. Each one has their own quirks, and the way they pay off each other forces you to stay on your toes. However, as the fight goes on, and you start taking them out one by one, the difficulty decreases, and the satisfaction level skyrockets. What really makes this fight shine is how fun it is to lay the smackdown on these mischievous pests. It's not the most mechanically deep or challenging fight, but it nails the fun factor, making it one of the more enjoyable encounters. Chernabog is a boss that makes an unforgettable first impression. He's massive, terrifying, and oozes menace. His appearance feels like it should be a pivotal moment, yet the lack of build-up leaves it feeling oddly out of place. One minute you are working through the end of the world, and then next, bam! Here's Chernabog. It's an iconic Disney villain who deserved more narrative weight leading up to this fight. Mechanically, the battle has some strong points. His attacks are devastating, with his lava pillars being especially dangerous. If you are not careful, they can one-shot you. He also creates opportunities for counterattacks, forcing you to time your offense carefully. However, the reliance on the flying dampens the experience. The clunky aerial combat makes it difficult to fully enjoy what could have been an epic showdown. Chernabog had all the ingredients to be a standout boss, but the lack of build-up and the limitations of the flying mechanics hold it back. It's a fight with high stakes and high potential that doesn't quite deliver. Leaves it as a visually stunning but underwhelming encounter. After chasing Riku and Pinocchio through the bizarre living labyrinth, the sight of Riku joining you in the battle against Parasite Cage fills you with excitement. Fighting side by side with your best friend and rival is an incredible feeling, and it's a moment that ties into the game's themes of friendship and betrayal perfectly. Mechanically, the fight is straightforward compared to the second encounter. Parasite Cage still hits hard, and its parry windows encourage careful timing, but it's not nearly as challenging. The real impact of this boss comes not from the fight itself, but from what follows. Just as you start to feel like your bond with Riku might be mending, he betrays you, shattering that hope, and leaves you with clues to what has happened to Kairi. It's a fight that's as much about the story as it is about the gameplay, and it delivers on both fronts. While not overly difficult, it's a fun and meaningful encounter that serves its role in the story beautifully. The first encounter with Cerberus at the Olympus Coliseum is an early game standout. His entrance alone sets the tone for the fight. Stomping on Cloud and forcing Hercules to intervene establishes him as a force to be reckoned with. It's an epic introduction for a boss meant to test your growing skills. Cerberus is a well-designed boss for this stage of the game. His attack patterns require a mix of dodging and precise timing, teaching you patience and the importance of choosing your moments to strike. If you're greedy, like myself, you'll quickly learn the cost of his devastating attacks, as they can one-shot you if you are careless. While not overwhelmingly difficult, once you figure out his patterns, the initial learning curve makes him feel intimidating. He's a great balance of challenge and fairness, giving you a real sense of accomplishment when you finally take him down. This fight is memorable, not just for how it raises the stakes in the story and gameplay. Cerberus sets the bar for the Olympus Coliseum battles, leaving a lasting impression as one of the first truly epic encounters in the game. On your second trip to Traverstown, you find the keyhole of the world, just to be met with yet again guard armor. You swiftly beat him, showing how you have grown in strength. However, it gets back up and starts to transform, turning itself into opposite armor. This transformation is an epic moment, turning a seemingly predictable rematch into an exciting new challenge. Opposite armor's revamped moveset breathes fresh life into the fight, requiring you to adapt to its faster and more aggressive attacks. It feels dynamic and rewarding, keeping you on your toes while emphasizing how your journey has prepared you for tougher foes. Beyond the gameplay, this fight serves as a narrative milestone. Discovering the Traverstown keyhole reinforces the importance of your mission, while defeating opposite armor symbolizes your growth as a keyblade wielder. It seamlessly blends story and gameplay, making the fight feel impactful and meaningful. Opposite armor is a standout example of how to revisit and involve a boss encounter. It's an enjoyable and well-designed fight that ties perfectly into the themes of progression and strength, leaving a lasting impression. Oogie Boogie's boss fight is a masterclass in character-driven design, perfectly encapsulating his mischievous, chaotic personality. The roulette wheel arena sets the tone, immersing you in his world of random chance and underhanded tricks. His use of dice to determine your fate adds an unpredictable flair, only for him to cheat by slamming the ground and re-rolling a move. That's pure Oogie Boogie. The fight's mechanics are straightforward yet satisfying. You can chip away at him with magic for minimal damage, but the real strategy lies in timing your button presses to trap him, opening him up for a well-earned beatdown. It's a clever design that keeps you engaged without feeling overly complex. What makes this fight so enjoyable is how well it balances its gimmick. The mechanics are fun and unique without becoming tedious, and Oogie's relatively low HP ensures the battle doesn't overstay its welcome. It's an excellent example of how to craft a gimmick boss fight that remains entertaining while staying true to the character. Overall, Oogie Boogie's fight stands out as one of the most creative and well executed encounters in the game, offering both narrative cohesion and gameplay fun. Darkside is the perfect introduction to Kingdom Hearts, setting the tone for the journey ahead with an unforgettable first encounter. His entrance is iconic. Your shadow stretches ominously, rising from the ground to form this towering Heartless, all while an eerie voice echoes from the darkness. It's a moment that immediately pulls you into the game's mysterious world. The fight itself is straightforward, designed to reinforce the basic mechanics you've learned in the opening tutorial. You can target his hands or take a more cinematic approach by running up his arm and attacking his head. It's not a particularly difficult battle, but it serves its purpose well, introducing players to combat while showcasing the scale and drama the game has to offer. Even after you win, the narrative impact lingers. Darkside engulfs you in darkness, emphasizing your vulnerability and hinting at the challenges ahead. The sudden transition to waking up on the beach with Kari over you ties the surreal sequence back to reality, adding to the intrigue of the story. While not a standout in terms of challenge, Darkside's role as a narrative and atmospheric introduction earns it a solid spot in the middle of this list. Ursula's first boss fight is a notorious difficulty spike, and much of that challenge depends on whether you gave up the staff at the start of the game. If you did, this battle becomes a grueling test of patience. Rather than directly fighting Ursula, you are battling her cauldron. The gimmick requires you to hit it with magic 8 times to stun her, all while she spins around the battlefield. relentlessly punishing you if you're too slow. To make matters worse, her eels, Float Sam and Jet Sam, are constantly harassing you, adding even more chaos to an already frustrating fight. What drags this fight down even further is Atlantica's movement mechanics. Swimming can feel clunky and imprecise, making it harder to dodge Ursula's attacks or reliably target the cauldron. It's a fight that demands precision in an environment that doesn't support it too well. Finishing this encounter feels more like a relief than a triumph. Instead of being an enjoyable challenge, it becomes a frustrating slog, made worse by its reliance on gimmicks and poor movement mechanics. While Ursula's character and presence are iconic, this fight doesn't live up to her potential. The Clayton stealth snake fight is a thrilling, memorable moment in Kingdom Hearts, serving as the first true test of your skills. It starts deceptively simple, with a straightforward gang fight against Clayton and his heartless goons. Then in a cinematic twist, the back wall explodes, revealing nothing. Moments later, Clayton is hoisted into the air by invisible force and the real battle begins. The introduction of the stealth snake cranks up the intensity, with its cloaked form and laser attacks. The challenge lies in managing the dual threats, Clayton's relentless gunfire and the stealth snake's devastating physical attacks. Both are heavy hitters, and at this point in the game, you still lack the cure spell, making every hit feel critical. The fight's design forces strategic thinking. Do you focus on the stealth snake, chipping away at its massive health, while dodging Clayton's shots? Or do you target Clayton directly, aiming to end the fight quickly but risking brutal counterattacks from the stealth snake? Either choice keeps you on edge, demanding precision and adaptability. It's a balanced, well-paced fight that's neither too easy nor overly punishing, as long as you stay alert and maintain your health. The dramatic reveal of the stealth snake, combined with the high stakes and strategic elements, make this encounter an early highlight of the game. The second fight with Ursula finally delivers the scale and drama you'd expect from one of Disney's most iconic villains. She looms massive and menacing, taunting you throughout the battle, with attacks that seem designed to keep you on edge. Ursula's moveset is a mix of high damage attacks and massive AoEs, but the long wind-ups provide opportunities for counterplay. The constant threat of her lightning bolts, however, is really what turns this fight into a test of endurance. Sometimes when she sucks you in to bite, a bolt will hit you, and there is nothing you can do to prevent it. So if you don't have second chance, this fight can turn into a gamble. Will the bolt randomly keep striking, or not? And don't get me started on her attacks having audio half the time. What holds this fight back even more is the movement mechanics of Atlantica. Fix that and this fight goes up a few spots. Despite these issues, the fight captures the essence of Ursula's character. Bold, intimidating, and full of spectacle. As it stands, it's memorable but flawed, teetering between thrilling and aggravating. Trickmaster perfectly complements the artistic chaos of Wonderland with its bizarre design. The tall, spindly limbs, tiny torso, and flaming battens make it feel straight out of a dream. Its playful, yet menacing presence is a highlight of early game bosses. His moveset is not too challenging, but getting to a position to attack him is. Jumping up onto the table just for him to smash the table to dust, or when the table just magically starts spinning, throwing you off. The fireball attacks add some intensity, offering a choice between dodging, hiding, or attempting to block them with a perfectly timed swing. For an early game boss, Trickmaster is a standout. Its creative design and clever use of the environment elevate it into one of the most memorable encounters in the game. Ansem, in the first stage of the climactic endgame, sets the stage for what is to come, while showcasing the devastating power of a fully in-charge Ansem. You face him alongside Donald and Goofy, and it adds a sense of camaraderie and stakes. reinforcing the journey that brought the trio to this moment. This fight introduces Ansem's arsenal of attacks, giving you a chance to learn his patterns and mechanics before the intense 1 vs 1 battle that follows. His submit attack is the standout mechanic, turning his Guardian Heartless into a relentless pursuer that tracks and attacks you. The timing needed to dodge roll and avoid being stunned adds a layer of tension, making it one of the most intimidating moves in the game. However, as is often the case, Donald and Goofy are likely to take the hit, sparing you from its worst effects. While this fight does a great job showcasing Ansem's capabilities and setting the tone for the final confrontation, it's ultimately hindered by its own design. It feels more like a tutorial than a true boss battle. This fight works as a setup for the trials ahead, rather than a standout encounter on its own. The fight with Darkseid, after obtaining the Keyblade, transforms into a cinematic masterpiece. The emotional aftermath of witnessing what seemed like Kyrie's death, and the realization that dream was real, or was it? All collide to create an unforgettable experience. The fight itself is similar to the tutorial version, but the stakes feel infinitely higher. Darkseid's towering, menacing presence against the chaotic backdrop of a world being consumed by darkness elevates this encounter. Every swing of the Keyblade feels like an act of defiance, fueled by the anger and determination born from the unfolding tragedy. While the mechanics remain simple, the storytelling and setting make this fight resonate. The dramatic tension, coupled with the stunning visual design of the crumbling island, ensures this is not just another boss battle, it's a pivotal moment in the game. This fight stands out as the best Darkseid encounter because of the emotional weight and cinematic presentation. The fight against Cloud and Leon is one of those moments that makes you go, oh, shit. It's a duel against two of the most iconic swordsmen, each with distinct styles that force you to adapt quickly. Leon is the slow, heavy hitter with his glowing gun blade, delivering devastating damage if you're not careful. On the other hand, Cloud is a swift, relentless force, dashing and leaping around the battlefield with his Buster Sword. Their contrasting styles make this fight a chaotic test of skill. The challenge lies in deciding your strategy. Do you focus on taking out Leon to remove his powerful attacks, or do you try to ground Cloud before he can overwhelm you with his agility? Either choice demands precision, patience, and excellent timing to exploit their openings while avoiding their crushing blows. Winning this fight feels like a true accomplishment, proving you can go toe to toe with two of the toughest fighters. The fight with Hades is a surprising detour. Despite being introduced early and portrayed as a key player in the villainous council led by Maleficent, his battle is entirely optional and has no real impact on the large narrative. Mechanically, Hades is a tough opponent with two distinct forms, his Karma Blue Flame and his Enraged Red Flame. The transition to his Red Flame form can catch you off guard, especially when he starts spinning and unleashing flames in a wide arc. The key is to get close to him during these moments. If you try to run, you'll almost certainly be caught in the flames. His Finger Snap and Hand Flames are his deadliest moves, as they deal massive damage and can't be blocked. However, his Meteor Throw is a double-edged sword for him. If you anticipate it, you can guard him, stun him, and deliver a devastating combo. While the fight itself is challenging and well designed, the lack of story significance holds it back from being truly memorable. The fight against Leon and Yuffie strikes a perfect balance between challenge and storytelling, edging slightly above the Cloud and Leon battle due to its narrative ties. While not as difficult as its counterpart, the design of this battle is excellent, pairing a ranged fighter with a close quarters powerhouse. This dynamic creates a unique challenge that feels more manageable compared to the relentless pressure of Cloud and Leon. Yuffie's nimble ranged attacks and healing ability force you to stay on your toes, while Leon's raw power and glowing blade reminds you of your earlier struggle against him. The balance between these two characters make the fight engaging and keeps you thinking strategically about who to target first. What sets this fight apart is its connection to the story. Facing Leon again alongside Yuffie serves as a symbolic reminder of your growth. No longer the underdog who struggled to even scratch Leon in Travis Town. You now stand strong enough to overcome both him and Yuffie together. It's a satisfying moment of reflection on how far you've come in your journey. It's not the hardest fight, but its design elevates it to one of the most enjoyable encounters. The Phantom boss fight stands out as one of the most stressful yet memorable secret battles. It demands preparation, strategy, and a high MP pool to succeed, along with a stockpile of elixirs. Throughout the fight, the clock tower looms over you, counting down the seconds before doom claims a party member. Phantom's entrance is chilling. Its black and white cloak, ethereal formless appearance, exude menace despite the simplicity of its design. The mechanics of the fight are what truly set it apart. The coloured orb on the Phantom determines how you can damage it. White for physical attacks, blue for blizzard, red for fire, and yellow for thunder. This adds an intriguing puzzle-like layer to the battle, forcing you to pay attention and switch tactics constantly. It's an excellent example of a gimmick fight done right, with mechanics that are both engaging and challenging. The added stress of the Doom spell keeps you on edge. Casting stop on the clock tower to delay the inevitable creates a constant tug-of-war between offense and defense. If you let your focus slip or mismanage your resources, the fight quickly spirals out of control. Phantom's design, mechanics, and atmosphere make it one of the most unique fights. While its difficulty might frustrate unprepared players, it's a rewarding experience for those who relish a well-crafted challenge. A perfect inclusion for a secret boss, this fight is a test of both skill and patience. Leon's introduction is one of the most memorable moments early in the game, setting the tone for how formidable the journey ahead will be. Exiting Cid's shop only to encounter this stoic, mysterious swordsman is brilliant. His gunblade and sleek, iconic costume design immediately position him as a seasoned warrior, displaying a quiet but undeniable sense of danger. Leon's deliberate, menacing approach as he creeps towards you to strike, coupled with his charged gunblade shots when you try to keep your distance, makes for a tense and thrilling encounter. The lack of guard at this stage forces you to rely entirely on dodging, making the fight feel almost impossible on a first playthrough. Losing to Leon is expected. However, for those who manage to beat him, the alternate cutscenes offer a rewarding acknowledgement of how hard-earned the victory was, with Sora collapsing from exhaustion. Leon's introduction and fight are beautifully designed, serving as both a challenge and a key moment of character development. It's a fight that sticks and sets the stage for the camaraderie and respect that develop between the two characters later in the story. Cloud's entrance in the Colosseum is nothing short of iconic. His slow, deliberate walk past Sora, while barely acknowledging him, combined with the imposing presence of his massive Buster Sword and his sleek redesign, cements him as one of the coolest characters. The fight itself is a serious challenge, especially given the stage of the game. Depending on whether you've completed Deep Jungle, you might not have the Cure spell, and if you don't have Guard, it's GG. This makes dodging Cloud's relentless Sonic Blade and his devastating tracking jump the key to survival. His attacks are fast, powerful, and difficult to avoid without precise timing. If you take more than a couple of hits, it's game over. The dual outcomes of the fight add another layer of enjoyment. Losing is more likely result for a first time player, but winning gives the feeling of achievement and maintains the impact of the cutscene. As the game progresses, Cloud's story unfolds further, giving him depth and tying him into the broader narrative, not to mention his final cutscene, which I'll get into later. His fight is a test of patience, timing, and skill that feels incredibly rewarding for those who manage to overcome it. Maleficent's dragon form is a fight straight out of a Disney movie. Her transformation is spectacular, evoking the same dread that made her such an iconic villain in Sleeping Beauty. This time, unlike her first fight, Maleficent truly feels like the formidable big bad she was always meant to be. The fight offers multiple approaches, allowing players to test their strategies. You can face her head on, weaving between her relentless attacks to land quicker damage, or you can create distance, biding your time and exploiting the wider openings. Both strategies demand precision and a good understanding of her patterns, making the fight engaging without being overwhelmingly difficult. Her moveset is a blend of fire breath, stomps, and AoE attacks, each one telegraphed just enough to keep the challenge fair. The satisfaction comes from learning to navigate her ferocity while staying on the offensive. The fight manages to feel intense without being overly punishing, making victory both attainable and rewarding. Her imposing design, cinematic transformation, and satisfying gameplay are a standout. It's a perfect execution of a final Disney boss, delivering on both story and gameplay. The Ice Titan is an exhilarating challenge that perfectly embodies the scale and spectacle of this world. Known as an iconic villain from Hercules, his sudden appearance in the gold match gets you pumped and ready for a hard battle. His towering figure and icy demeanour set the stage for a battle that feels truly monumental. The fight itself is a masterclass in precision and patience. Almost all of his attacks are ranged, with the primary method of dealing damage being the deflection of his relentless ice spikes. The spikes follow distinct patterns that you need to learn and master to effectively counter them. It's a mechanic reminiscent of classic arcade games like 1945, where success hinges on recognizing attack sequences and reacting swiftly. Adding to the difficulty, his freeze attacks force constant repositioning, keeping you on your toes and ensuring there's never a dull moment. The fight can feel overwhelming at first, especially as the arena fills with his icy onslaught. However, with perseverance and well-timed guards, you will come out on top. Defeating the Ice Titan is a true test of skill, rewarding those who approach with strategy and precision, a true standout, and earns its spot on this list. Anti-Sora stands out as one of the most memorable fights, showcasing Riku's descent into darkness and his growing mastery over its power. Riku summons Anti-Sora in a shocking jump scare moment as he abducts Kairi, leaving you no choice but to confront this manifestation of darkness head on. The sheer urgency to defeat him is consuming, but the fight punishes recklessness, demanding a slow approach to counter his moves and whittle down his considerable HP. Anti-Sora mirrors many of Sora's abilities, making it feel like you are battling a distorted version of yourself. On top of that, he adds unique and menacing moves to his arsenal, such as his underground attack. He vanishes, only to erupt from the ground moments later, with a seemingly unavoidable attack, and continues for around 5 strikes, before cloning himself. The combination of a striking design, a strong narrative connection, and a demanding moveset cements Anti-Sora as one of the best battles in the game. It's a fight that lingers in your memory, long after it's over, hinting at the darkness inside Sora's heart. Kurt Caesar is a phenomenal secret boss and a standout challenge. Introduced with an explosive ambush in the desert of Agrabah, his entrance is both surprising and cinematic, immediately setting the tone for a high-stakes battle. The dramatic pillars that trap you and the massive presence of Kurt Caesar perfectly foreshadow the tough fight ahead. His design is a seamless blend of snake-like menace and Arabic-inspired armor, making him feel like a natural yet extraordinary part of the Agrabah world. His dual-wielded weapons and unique fighting style give him a presence that demands respect and keeps you engaged throughout the encounter. The fight itself is a dynamic blend of phases and strategies. Right from the start, Kurt Caesar disrupts your rhythm by stealing your MP, forcing you to rely solely on physical attacks. This initial shock pushes players out of their comfort zone, but preparation, like summoning Tinkerbell, can significantly level the playing field. His spinning attacks and relentless combos require constant movement and precision, keeping you on edge and rewarding skillful play. After breaking his guard and dealing enough damage, Kurt Caesar shifts into his magic sphere phase. This is a refreshing twist where magic becomes your primary tool for damage, while physical attacks replenish MP. This phase change is a clever way to challenge players to adapt their strategy mid-fight, ensuring the battle never becomes stale. While the fight becomes more manageable once you learn his patterns and gimmicks, Kurt Caesar's presentation and gameplay remain top tier. His epic design, satisfying mechanics, and the thrill of overcoming his multi-phase attacks place him among the best bosses in the game, just shy of the top 5. Kurt Caesar is a shining example of how to craft a memorable and balanced optional challenge. The showdown with Riku in Hollow Bastion is a turning point, both narratively and emotionally. This confrontation marks the peak of your rivalry with Riku. The weight of everything leading up to it makes this fight unforgettable. Sora, seemingly outmatched and weaponless, finds himself face to face with his childhood friend turned enemy. Riku, now fully consumed by his dark ambitions, exudes menace in his black and purple suit, wielding his sinister Soul Eater blade. His character design perfectly embodies his fall from grace, blending elegance and malice into one striking visual. The battle begins after one of Sora's typical moments. "My friends are my power!" When Goofy saves his life and Donald rejoins him, the Keyblade returns to his hand and an epic clash begins. The fight itself is exhilarating, with Riku's relentless movement and unpredictable attacks, forcing you to be on your toes. His lunges are fast, his counters are brutal, and his short windows of vulnerability make every hit you land feel hard-earned. The challenge here is not just physical, but emotional. Throughout the fight, you are grappling with the realization that your friend may be lost to the darkness, yet defeating Riku brings bittersweet sense of joy. It's a satisfying moment to finally come out on top after your earlier defeats and competitions with him. But it's also soured with sorrow, as the victory feels like a loss for Sora's heart. The combination of narrative weight, stunning design, and challenging gameplay makes this fight as one of the best. Placing it 5th on the list feels fitting. It's not just a great boss fight, but a defining moment in Sora and Riku's relationship, setting the stage for their journeys ahead. The solo fight with Ansem is a masterpiece of tension, atmosphere, and gameplay, making it feel like the true climax. This encounter perfectly embodies the ending of Sora's journey, pitting him against the embodiment of darkness itself. Ansem's full possession and warping of Riku's body takes on a terrifying and imposing form. His design is phenomenal, menacing, sleek, and radiating an aura of unstoppable power. The addition of his Guardian Heartless amplifies this threat, giving the fight an ominous and unpredictable edge. The Guardian's grotesque and shadowy appearance is a stark reminder of the true nature of the Heartless. The fight itself is intense and demands precision. Anseb's swift dashes and relentless attacks create a sense of constant danger. Every combo you land, you live in fear that his Guardian will use the move Submit, locking on and tracking you, stunning you in place, allowing Ansem to get close and finish the fight. It's the one move you don't want to get hit by. This encounter is personal. The believed death of Riku adds emotional weight to every strike and dodge. The looming Guardian, Ansem's unrelenting aggression, and the dark, oppressive atmosphere combined to create an unforgettable boss fight. Ansem's design and gameplay here set him apart as one of the best boss fights. This battle showcases the true power of the Heartless and encapsulates the theme of light and darkness, central to the game's story. It's a fight that feels like it should have been the grand finale, an epic showdown that encapsulates the stakes and emotional weight of the narrative. It's just too bad this wasn't the final fight, instead of the World of Chaos. The lead up to this battle is unparalleled. Sora, standing alone over Kari's lifeless body, is confronted by his best friend, now a vessel for the Seeker of Darkness. The scene where Sora collapses to his knees, narrowly deflecting Riku's strike after Kari's call, sets a tone of desperation and determination. The tension is palpable, and when the fight begins, you feel the weight of everything that has led up to this moment. This battle is essentially a heightened version of your previous duel with Riku, but the stakes and mechanics are cranked up to 11. Riku's movements and attacks are faster, more powerful, and more relentless. His calm, taunting approach at the start mirrors his cockiness on Destiny Island. But the fight quickly escalates as he powers up. His strikes gain additional hits, and his attacks become more unpredictable and punishing. Landing a combo on him is a calculated risk, as it almost always results in a devastating counterattack. The pacing of this fight demands absolute focus. Each new phase introduces faster, stronger, and more erratic moves, keeping you on edge. This isn't just a battle, it's a struggle for Sora's best friend and a desperate attempt to protect Kari. Every strike feels like a clash of ideals and emotions, and the soundtrack amplifies this beautifully. By the time you reach the fight's climax, you're not just playing a game, you're immersed in a story about friendship, sacrifice, and the battle against darkness. Riku's black and purple suit, along with the sharp black keyblade designed to unlock hearts, is one of the most striking designs. It perfectly captures the corruption and power Ansem has brought to Riku's body. His animations and visual effects highlight his transformation into a true force of darkness. The cutscene following this fight is one of the most iconic moments in the series. Sora uses Riku's blade to pierce his own heart, sacrificing himself to free the princesses and restore Kari. The mix of sorrow and joy in this scene is a perfect addition to the narrative. It's a heart-wrenching yet hopeful moment, leaving a lasting emotional impact. From its emotional build-up to its mechanical execution, this fight is nothing short of perfection. The relentless pacing, the constant evolution of the fight, and the deep narrative makes it the most replayable and impactful main story boss fight in the game. This fight earns its well-deserved spot at number 3 on this list. Sephiroth's entrance is epic. You see the question marks in the Colosseum, enter, then here is that epic music. After what looks to be a summoning, he slowly stands up, reaches out, and you see his wing and long-ass katana. Sephiroth's battle is a grueling test of endurance and skill. having 3 phases designed to push even the most seasoned players to their limits. At the start, Sephiroth's massive health bar does not budge, because it's so large. He counters your every move with brutal precision and casts devastating fire pillars that can easily trap and destroy you if you are not careful. His calm, measured strikes and sheer presence makes him seem invincible, setting the tone for the intense battle ahead. Once you chip away enough of his seemingly infinite HP, Sephiroth ups the ante with his infamous Heartless Angel. This ability drops your HP to 1 and drains all of your MP. You need to strike him before he casts this, because if you don't, it's essentially GG, unless you can get an elixir off. And he doesn't just do this once, but many times over the fight. The sheer panic of him teleporting, preparing the move, and desperately trying to interrupt him before it's too late is both daunting and exhilarating. Outside of this move, tracking him to get combos off becomes increasingly difficult. After each strike he moves, and much faster than you can. You can go 30 seconds without a good opportunity to strike, at least if you're as bad as I am. The final phase begins with Sephiroth summoning meteors to rain down on the arena, forcing you to split your focus between dodging and finding openings to strike. The relentless tracking orbs add another layer of difficulty, with his flying katana strikes adding salt to the wound. This phase is a true test of endurance and adaptability, where even the slightest lapse in concentration can end the fight. And the worst part? He still casts Heartless Angel! This battle is intense, nerve-wracking, and deeply satisfying. The challenge of overcoming Sephiroth is part of what makes it so memorable, and the reward of victory feels unparalleled. And the music, it's just so epic. Not to mention defeating him gets you a Keyblade that rivals the ultimate weapon. The story for Cloud and Sephiroth add to this fight even more. Sephiroth and Cloud having contrasting designs, both with one wing on opposite sides, showing their link. After this fight, you get to watch them clash and disappear in the blink of an eye. An iconic Final Fantasy character, perfectly redesigned and placed. Honestly, it was difficult placing him in second place, but the next boss is just a little better. The fight with Unknown is the pinnacle of a good boss design, blending mystery, challenge, and foreshadowing. Introduced in Kingdom Hearts Final Mix, Unknown's presence adds depth to the game, while offering a glimpse into the larger Kingdom Hearts narrative. Unknown's entrance is haunting, phasing in and out of reality with a distorted, cryptic dialogue. He claims Sora is incomplete, and he must test our strength. When he phases through Sora and remarks on Sora's strength, the stakes feel higher than ever. The fight begins with unsettling weight, as though you are facing a foe far beyond your current understanding and strength. Unknown's minimalist design is deceptively simple yet menacing, cloaked in shadow, wielding twin energy sabers. His appearance radiates raw power and mystery. For those familiar with Kingdom Hearts 2, the realization of who this figure is adds a layer of awe and dread. His movements and demeanor suggest he's not fighting at full strength, underscoring Sora's relative weakness and hinting at the challenge yet to come. He zips around the battlefield with relentless speed, delivering rapid saber strikes and unleashing tracking electrical orbs that detonate on impact. His reflectability punishes careless attacks, retaliating with double strikes if triggered. From the start, the fight demands your full focus. After taking a bar of his health, his speed will increase and he teleports more frequently, making dealing damage and avoiding attacks much more difficult. The scariest move he has is his curse. If you get hit by it, your menu gets scrambled and you need to hit release, which is much harder than it sounds. And if you miss the release, you take damage and get stunned. This goes on and on till you are successful, giving Unknown ample time to take you down. The final stretch is nothing short of chaos. Unknown floats ominously, summoning massive laser arrays that sweep across the battlefield. He casts Curse constantly, and getting hit by it is almost always fatal. His flurry of saber strikes during this stage is relentless, testing every bit of your reflexes and emotions. Victory feels hard earned and incredibly intense, even though I cheesed his final health bar with strike rate. I don't like to admit that. The haunting music perfectly complements the fight, amplifying the tension and mystery. Every aspect of the encounter, from Unknown's cryptic dialogue to his unique abilities, feels like a setup for something greater. It's a perfect way to tease Kingdom Hearts 2, leaving players both satisfied and eager for what's to come. Unknown combines everything that makes a secret boss exceptional. The fight demands mastery of the game's mechanics without feeling unfair. His presence deepens the lore and raises questions, adding intrigue to the universe. His mechanics and design hint at the next game, making his inclusion feel purposeful. Battling a foe who is clearly beyond Sora's current capabilities reinforces his journey and growth. Unknown's fight is a masterclass in boss design, and just earns its #1 spot as the best boss fight in Kingdom Hearts. And with that, this boss ranking is done. Be sure to tell me what you would change in this list, and give your reasons why. See ya!